Alright, you start. I'll shut the fuck up. You start. Okay, from the moment you got there,
Yeah.
what happened?
Like, so we were spending Christmas there with the family. The other half of the family were actually meant to fly over on Stephen's Day, which is the day it happened.
Yeah.
And like, I remember, like, I don't really remember the rest of the holiday. It's not kind of that standout, but when that happens, you're kind of like, it's something you just don't forget. Like, I remember we woke up and I was in like my bunk beds, like 5, like, you know,
waiting for Christmas.
No, it was after Christmas. Like, I was chuffed. Like, I had my toys around.
Sorry. 6 hours later, just swimming around.
And I remember, like, parents just ran into the room and they were like, "Get up!" And I was like, "What?" Like, I was like, "It's way too early." Like, I'm not getting up. But and they literally like picked me up out of bed. They were like,
"We have to go."
Up, like, and they went and looked out the balcony, and I was kind of standing beside them, and you just saw like thousands of people running because they had no warning systems or anything.
I was just like
people were out on the beach, and like they'd just be there, and then all of a sudden it's like you just hear people screaming, "Run!"
Do you have any idea how long it took before you realised it was happening? Because obviously the fact that it was so big, it was a 9.1 or something.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
So there was obviously all the water was going out before all the water came in.
Yeah, like that's the thing. Like, if you watch like any YouTube videos or
you'll see it just getting pulled back out.
You see loads of like the Thai people and all like kind of walking out, going, "Oh, this is so cool! Like the beach is so big."
You think they would have caught? You think they'd kind of have an idea as to what's happening, considering?
Yeah, like it's what they were like. The speed was like 800 kilometers an hour. Like, by the way,
you didn't see it, did you?
Yeah.
You didn't.
Yeah,
you saw it.
Yeah. Like
you're on the coast, like.
Yeah, no, we were right on the coast. Like, literally, our hotel was 2 minutes from the beach, and I literally have photos like looking outside like our hotel room. Like, I'll show you them in a while, and like you can just see cars just piled up against the side of and like boats and everything. Like, it's pretty intense.
But like, once the water was going out, and 15 or 20 minutes later, it's still happening, and there's clearly going to be a massive intake of water very soon. Are the authorities not trying to evacuate people?
Like, how quick can you evacuate people? Like, it's a matter of like half an hour. Like, you're not going to evacuate an entire city. But like, I remember we woke up and you just saw like all the people running, and you were just kind of like, okay, what's going on? Like, my parents thought like,
okay, so your ma says get up, no idea. We're going. Then
we went and looked out the balcony.
Right.
It was like, what's going on? And then we actually went up 2 floors, and a guy on the 5th floor actually gave us his room because like parents had a kid, like he was on his own. He was like, "Listen, you take my room, like it has 2 bedrooms. You can have it." Like,
you thought the building would stay safe though, as in it'd hold.
Most actually didn't.
That's what I mean.
Like most buildings were swept away and all. And like, I remember one of like the most vivid memories is it was about 2 or 3 hours after it had struck, and we went down, and there was a flatbed truck out, and they were like, "Listen, okay, we're going to get people out of the city, bring them up to the mountains. That's where everyone's going to be evacuated to." And everyone kind of got onto the back of the truck and all, and then you heard people screaming, "Wave."
Oh my God.
Like, I remember standing there looking at my dad, like holding like my blanket, like, because I was like 5, like, and he turns around, he was like, "Get off the truck." And I was just kind of stood there, and I was like kind of looking like at everyone like running like past the truck and everything, and like he literally just grabbed me and ran straight up the stairs back into the hotel, and like the entire truck was just gone.
I'd say your dad was halfway between wondering whether the building, whether it was the right move going back into the building.
Yeah, no.
Do you remember which village you were in? Because I know there's somewhere
we were in Phuket.
You're in Phuket.
Yeah.
Phuket.
You waiting for that? This is serious, man.
Because there was some other ones that obviously that had high-rise buildings and hotels and stuff, but others were just flat. They were just bungalows and stuff, and the whole thing was just leveled.
Like it was a pretty built-up area, but a lot like all the restaurants and all the likes of that, like, gone. They weren't built for this kind of stuff. Like, the waves were like 20 meters high.
You didn't feel an earthquake, did you?
No,
it happened happened way out into the
ocean, and then it comes in.
Like,
but what kind of destination was the place? Like, did it seem like the type of location where everything's just a shack, or what? Or would, like, when you were in the hotel, did you think, listen, this is modern
No,
enough that it should be structurally
the
sound.
hotel, like, you would have thought, like, okay, that would
Okay.
be fine. Like,
Okay.
it's well built. It's like
Yeah,
looking at a
yeah.
hotel over here, whereas, like,
A Marriott
when you
or
go
something.
around to the buildings, like,
Yeah.
it was just,
yeah,
there's no
slums.
hope. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But,
Was there a priority? I know it's a bit of a weird, but was there a priority over who got to escape freely? Like,
well,
was there that
basically,
kind of thing,
like, a big thing was get all the tourists back to the airport after it happened. Like, yeah.
fucking hell.
Like, because a lot of the Thai people who would have been down in their houses, like, obviously passed away.
Yeah.
And, like, yeah, you just, like, they were just kind of like, okay, most of the tourists, they're in
It seems kind
hotels,
of backwards
like,
in a sense.
yeah, kind of look after your own. But, like,
Yeah.
that wasn't the case.
Did you ever see the movie The Impossible?
Yeah.
Was it similar scenes, or did you kind of get the start of it?
Yeah, like, I do get what it's about, but obviously it's Hollywooded up. For,
Yeah.
But, like, it's not as, like,
You didn't live 2012. Yeah.
yeah, it's definitely not 2012. Like, you're not looking at this wall of water coming towards you. Like,
pilot's license.
like, the floor on the third floor of the hotel was wet from water.
That's
Right.
unbelievable.
Like, after the tsunami.
Like
Like,
the
and
type
we
of
were
thing you just
staying
like
on the
never
third floor,
expect to
like-
happen to you.
Yeah, no, it's like, I'd love to go back, like, to Thailand, because, like,
Yeah.
it's just,
Yeah, it's stunning.
somewhere, like, but I'd love to go back and see the exact same place, like, because the hotel was rebuilt, like,
Okay.
all the outside bit. But, like, one of the gas things is, and I hate when people kind of go, like, oh yeah, it's lucky, but I always went to this kind of kids camp in the mornings that, like, you always went down to it, and, like, it was like a kids club, basically,
Daycare,
so
daycare,
yeah,
yeah.
exactly. And it was just happened to be one of the mornings that, like, we kind of turned around and went, yeah, okay, we're not going to get up this morning and just,
Wow.
like, we'll have a lie-in. And
It's
yeah.
always those stories.
Yeah,
isn't it?
no, it's just
always
like,
those.
it's like,
Were your parents
Yeah.
up before?
no, they heard people screaming, and
Wow.
they were like,
Fucking hell.
what? Like,
The fact that it was Christmas as well.
yeah,
The only part of the year you expect everything to just go to plan.
Boxing
Yeah.
Day.
Well, the same thing. You know what I mean? As
Yeah,
in,
like, it's around
Christmas
that
Day is
time,
just
yeah.
past. You're
Yeah,
kind of you're
yeah,
there.
yeah,
It's the
yeah.
it's the after, the post Christmas relaxation. Everyone's eating tons and they're relaxing. They're on holidays. Like,
Yeah. What age were you when you started to realize, holy shit, I was in that?
yeah, like, it doesn't hit you when you're 5. Like,
Yeah.
like, this sounds so bad, but at 5, you're not gonna realize, like my big thing was like, oh my god, I'm leaving all my Christmas presents behind. Like,
Yeah.
like, how is that your first
6
concern?
million
But, like, no, like, at 5, you just have no perception of the fact that, like,
That's
like,
so
people
true.
have died, like.
yeah.
Yeah.
250,000 people
Yeah.
died across the whole coast.
Like, I remember, like, being brought down to the truck when we were, like, Dad was just like, don't look at anything, like, because
And did you?
there was people, like,
Yeah.
floating
but,
around the place. Yeah.
like
Fucking hell.
the death toll was like 200,000.
That's
Like,
what I mean, yeah.
there's a lot of
Yeah.
people, like,
Do you think if you went back there, it'd be traumatic for you?
that's the big thing. Like, me and my parents have obviously had this discussion because we had been to Thailand 5 times
Okay.
before.
Yeah. It was a
And,
spot for you.
Yeah, like, it was like the go-to spot, and then we haven't been back since. But, like, yeah, like, you would be on edge. So I think, like, 1 or 2 days to kind of see it, but I don't think I'd stay there for, like,
Because
a
like
week,
you
know?
being 5 years old, having kind of fragmented memories of it is one thing, where you go back and then you kind of piece the past situation together. But your parents have a full formed
exactly
traumatic event
Yeah.
embedded into their mind and will for the rest of their life. Like it's the worst tsunami earthquake to ever take place ever.
And
Yeah.
is it such a thing that, like, your parents are kind of shaky talking about it, or they don't?
Like,
It's not a big elephant in the room, like.
oh no, not at all. Like, we've talked about it a good few times, but, like, they would kind of get maybe a bit, like, emotional. Like, I know, like,
'Cause
for
they
a fact,
saw
like,
people.
Yeah, no,
Like,
the likes
they
of my
saw-
mum, like she was watching The Impossible. Like, she kind of took a break halfway through because, like,
Jesus.
it's just like, I remember my dad actually ended up on Sky News that night.
Right.
He was like,
Were you
'cause
the
they
only
knew-
Irish people?
Yeah, we were one of the only Irish families.
Fucking hell.
And he basically, the morning it happened and all, like, about 2 hours after, he rang my auntie who was meant to fly over, and 2 of my cousins and another auntie who were meant to come out, or sorry, my nana, my auntie, uncle, and 2 of my cousins, and they were all meant to fly over that day.
Yeah.
And he rang and he said, listen, don't come here, like,
Of
the
course,
place is
yeah.
destroyed.
Yeah.
And she was like, stop messing, like, it's not funny. And he was like, no, seriously, does a tsunami, turn on the news. And she was like, oh, like, you're messing. She turned on the news. She was like she lost her shit. Like they were meant to be there like in like a couple of hours.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's insane. It's like 9/11, except it was a natural occurrence.
Yeah.
As far as like it's the same as going to New York and then a plane flies into the building. You go on a Christmas holiday, and then the whole coast is wiped out.
Like you hear those stories, you know the way you were saying